Another edition of Wings Weekly starts now. Jay Kleinknecht here along with head coach Scott Langer. Coach, a weekend up in Bismarck where you were able to secure a win there on Saturday night. And on Friday night, well, you score first. They score back, 18, 20 seconds, something like that later. And things got going the other direction for them, unfortunately. Let's start with Friday. Actually, yeah, well, let's start with Friday and how you guys as a coaching staff, as a group, felt about the effort, because I feel like in our pregame interview on Saturday, you talked a little bit about cheating and some of those kinds of things that maybe you weren't particularly happy about that. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not an effort thing. Cheating plays is you do that when you're pressing, and you're trying to get offense, and it never really works out the right way. We turned a lot of pucks over against Bismarck on Friday night, and that team can hurt you on the rush, and they did. It's that thing. You score that first goal, you need about 5 or 6 really good shifts to keep the momentum on your side, and them scoring right away and answering. That didn't help us one bit. So, but they were really good. Our structure was not good at all. Obviously, we had to make some changes going into Saturday, and we did, and we were able to secure the 2 points there.
Well, let's go into Saturday. Now, before we go actually completely into the game, I wanted to talk a little bit about the hit on Nikolai Tishkevich, which was very reminiscent of the Ferguson hit in the national championship game to me. Kind of gave me goosebumps, scared the heck out of me. But is he's okay?
Yeah, he'll be okay.
I know it's not social media. I mean, people around the community, all kinds of people have reached out to me and asked. Even people from Bismarck have asked if about his status and worried about him. So I'm glad to hear that. It's good to hear that he is going to be okay, because that was one heck of a collision, and I'm glad to hear that he's okay. But again, going on to Saturday, you guys pop out, and I mean the jump and the jam that you guys had on Saturday just seemed like a totally different team in a lot of ways. And you talked about it in our pregame interview talking on Saturday about how sometimes these guys need to be reminded a little bit. They need to be reminded that you can't cheat these plays and that you have to stay to the structure. And it certainly seemed that way on Saturday. You got to feel pretty good overall about that win, and we're going to get to the end of it in just a moment. But that overall, again, a great start.
Yeah, a really good start, a lot of energy. We were really physical. I think that took them by surprise a little bit with the physicality that our guys came out with. But, our guys were a little more determined, but they weren't turning pucks over, and they weren't cheating for offense, and that really helped us break pucks out with a lot more consistency, which added to our offense, and obviously we got that first one on a power play, which was big. Riley got us on the board, and it was we were just better structured. We were a better structured team. We took the all day Saturday to watch tape and figure out where we could be better, and we did. And we put the game plan together. The guys executed it and found a way.
Yeah. Well, you hung on because it was a 4-0 game, and we're going to talk to a player here in just a little bit here too. But ends up the final 3 minutes, I'm like, I don't chew my fingernails, but if I was a person that did, I probably would have been, because it got hairy at the end there. You end up winning that one 4-3, and I got to thinking about it, and I had some questions written out. But you, as a staff, when you're watching the game roll on, and you're going, okay, we're up 4-0, and there's 3.5 minutes left of the game. They score, then the goaltender is pulled, and they score again. And then are you going, what in the heck is happening? Like, how do you see that? Or you know what I mean? Like, how, when you're watching it unfold, are you saying this is what we did wrong here? What was, or are you kind of flabbergasted by the way that they were able to score 3 goals, bang, bang, bang?
No, we were down 4 forwards. I was playing with 8 forwards. 3 of our 6 penalty killers were all out of the game at that point. So my job there is just to continue to try to manage the game and try to get guys out there that can step up and perform the role that they're not used to performing. And I thought, obviously they score on the power play. Bulgakov's in the box for sticking up for a blatant hit to the head on Tish. Then they call that tripping penalty on Kupel, I think it was, which was nowhere to be found for, two nights in a row. And then Weisner obviously took a penalty, which was a penalty. And, it's just, when you're down to 8 forwards and they're having to play that many minutes, I think it started at maybe the 11-minute mark of the third period where we started to lose personnel to different things. So
legs get tired.
But, the Kim kid has a great shot. He did a great job of putting it up over Croix, and I think Croix will tell you he probably should have had one of those. The other one was a really good shot, and he couldn't see it. But none of it matters. It just doesn't matter. I mean, we got to move on. We got the 2 points. Yes, we feel good about the 2 points. We feel good about the corrections that the players made and executed. This week's about Minot, and they sit in the top of the division, and obviously, we have to go in there and play the best we can.
Well, like you said, none of it matters at this point anymore. Road wins, as you said on many occasions, don't have to be pretty. And, a 4-3 win there on Saturday. It got a little hairy, but the Wings come away with the 2 points on Saturday night there. And again, you move forward. That's all you can do. But this Minot team now, again, sitting top of the division. They are second in the entire league with most wins with 34. And I think Lone Star's got 33, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a tough team. That's a tough team up there. And what do you have to do? We always talk about keys and what But again, going back to how we talked about Saturday, the regression. How do you keep this team moving forward? Is it about motivation? Is it about constant reminders? Is it preparation? What do you have to do?
I think it's coaching. I think that's why.
Oh, come on,
Yeah, but I think it's coaching. And, at this age group, the guys can forget things pretty quick. Mm-hmm. And, they got a lot going on with their social media, their family back home, and you name it. But, they don't intend to go out and play a bad hockey game.
Right.
Like they did on Friday. But, from the coaching standpoint is we have to keep them focused and keep them going the right way. And it is a long season. And these are the parts of the season that are hardest for a coach because you're having to keep the interest there. But we're a motivated group. Our guys want to get better every day, and sure. They're going to head into Minot with the same way we headed into Bismarck. But we have to have a better Friday, and it's never easy traveling game day into Minot. That whole routine and winning games. So we have to really be focused because we need to win on Friday night. That's a big thing right now. We need to be thinking about.
And Minot's, as with everybody, in their own building, they're tough to beat, and this is a very skilled group. Obviously, they're winning games. Bismarck, you and I have talked about a very improved team sitting at second in the division, and we'll show you standings in a graphic here in just a moment. But what have you seen from Minot? Where is there anywhere that you can take advantage of something? Now, I was looking at penalty kills, looking at power play, and so on. Power play is actually pretty close, 19 and 18% roughly, but their kill is quite a bit stronger. I think 89%. Is that, obviously special teams are always something we talk about, and it's a big part of every game. Do you feel that there's a place where you can take advantage of and maybe capitalize?
Well, I think defensively, we have to defend like we defended on Saturday. We have to do a good job defending, just like in that 1-1 game against Bismarck. There wasn't a whole lot given up either way. Their scoring is up and down their lineup. So, right. They do a lot of guys chip in for them. So it's not like you can just key on one line or one group of guys. So, you have to have all your, I don't get last change on the road. So everybody's got to be ready to go and ready to play, and obviously their goaltending's good, so you have to get to them. You got to get to them, and you got to stay on them, and you have to be active, and it's about volume against them. So we're obviously it's going to be another war. Every game is, and no matter who you play in this division. So tendency-wise, we know when we're on our game because we're playing a certain way, and we know when we're off our game. So that's what's going to be the work this week is about us, and we'll let Minot take care of themselves, and then we'll have it out this weekend.
I didn't have this one loaded up as a question, but it was something that I was noticing Friday and Saturday, and I'm going to ask you now about the chess match between coaches and about lines and changing and so on, because it seems like to me, and I mentioned this in the broadcast I think Friday maybe and Saturday, that the two of you seem like there's more of that back and forth, and that maybe even more so than Coach Howard in Austin or whatever. But you have to match up lineups and stuff, and I don't think that the casual fan necessarily recognizes that, and all of the pieces that are moving behind the scenes. Would you say that that's a fair assessment? That somehow there's more of a chess match, it seems like, with Bismarck, or maybe with Cody and up in Minot?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge part of it. Especially at home, you get that last change. You want to make sure you have the right personnel out there against their personnel. Sometimes you're looking for your offensive lines with an offensive zone start, say on an icing. But there's some top lines on these teams that certain guys take a lot of pride in defending against.
Right.
So you want to make sure those guys are out on the ice at the right time. So I think as you see coaches grow, you see more and more of that matchup stuff going on, and try to give your team a chance to win a hockey game. But there's certainly a lot more than just letting guys jump the boards, for sure.
See, and I honestly think that a lot of people might not recognize that. Like they think, oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, just one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Well, no, wait a minute. Now there's some guys that have not seen minutes for a while, and it's because the matchup isn't right or whatever. And we saw a lot of that this weekend, and I know that there's a lot that goes on with that. And I just wanted to mention it, again, because somebody that's watching Wings Weekly here might be kind of curious of that, and that's a great answer. Thank you for that. All right. Well, again, standings-wise, Minot at the top, and then we have Bismarck, who we just saw over the last couple of games. Wings sitting in third right now, and then again, the graphic will show as things go along from third to fifth. Things are very close. Right now, I think Minot at the top with 69 points. North Iowa has got beat up a little bit by St. Cloud over the weekend and so on, but they're just 2 points back from the Wings right now. And things, of course, as we move down the road and get into this home stretch, so to speak, things are getting closer and closer when it comes to the playoffs and the playoff spots and so on. How closely do you guys watch the standings? And I know this is a dumb question because I know you and I know that you don't really watch them. But, I mean, is it something that you're starting to get a little bit more concerned about?
No, I took the standing board out of the room.
I noticed that.
We know we have to win, and that's the bottom line. But it doesn't matter what the other teams do at this point. We have to win to secure our spot. So let's worry about the process of getting there versus, what could happen.
And what other teams are doing.
What other teams are doing. You
Right.
have to worry about your process. So, we'll take each game as we can, and we'll keep fighting for points, and hopefully at the end we're sitting in a spot that we can get to the extra season.
All right, health-wise, everybody, again, we talked about Nikolai Tishkovich, and glad to hear that he's okay, but you guys are starting to get a little healthier and getting a few more guys back in with Reed and so on. Obviously, there's some missing pieces, but you feeling pretty good in the locker room?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's never easy at this time of the year. You're always dealing with something, so we'll see what the report is come Thursday, and we'll see what we have to go at Minot with.
All right, folks, more information coming up on the Minot matchup and everything that we have coming up, including the next home game here at the ODI Center, where there's going to be a small dog race, so check that out. We'll have more information on that in just a bit. But, Coach, as always, thank you for your time and your insight. It's always great to pick your brain a little bit and let people see a little bit about what goes on behind the bench. So thank you, and good luck against Minot.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, second portion of Wings Weekly comes up after this.
Bar and Event Center is your official home for the Aberdeen Wings. Stop down for an ice-cold beer or drink and choose from one of the many excellent food options on their menu, available for both lunch and dinner. And when your Aberdeen Wings are on the road trying to earn their way back to the Robertson Cup Championship, come on down to City Lights and watch the away games as the audio and video are streamed live. City Lights Bar and Event Center, the official home for the Aberdeen Wings on South 2nd Street, just south of the overpass in Aberdeen.
Second portion of Wings Weekly continues on, and as usual, a player is joining me, and this time it is Croix Kochendorfer. And you're born in St. Paul. Is that where you call home?
Yes, Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Okay. Because I know there's so many, it's funny because people well, I'm from St. Paul, but there are so many suburbs and stuff around that it's, sometimes
For sure.
So I wanted to ask a little about that. But all right, so we're rolling along. I've got all kinds of questions in my mind here for you. We're probably going to bounce all over the place because I forgot my notes like an idiot, and there may not be a whole lot of rhyme or reason. So I'm going to ask you, just like a goalie, to keep up. Shot here, shot there, boom, boom, boom.
Sounds good.
So, all right. First of all, how did you get started as a goalie? Were you ever a skate-out skater, or were you always like, man, this is my thing, this is my jam? And were there any inspirations or somebody that kind of pushed you that way? Or
Yeah, no, 100%. Growing up in Minnesota, it's kind of in your blood to play hockey. Mm-hmm. I feel like just growing up next to a pond, the community's always so hockey driven. So growing up, I was a skater, and I think it was when I was a mini-mite, pretty young. One of my coaches needed a goalie in net, so he asked me, and I was the crazy one that said yes. And since then, that's all she's wrote.
We're going to get to the crazy part here in just a moment as well. But so, how old? When did you first start skating?
Ooh. As long as I could remember.
Out of the womb?
Pretty much. I would say around like 4 to 5 I started skating, and then I'd say 2-3 years into skating is when I made the switch over to goaltending.
Okay, interesting. So I've often heard that a goaltender, believe it or not, a lot of people may not realize this, but oftentimes a goaltender needs to be one of the most athletic people on the team. And you see a show like Mighty Ducks, and you think, oh well, they just put Goldberg in there or whatever. But no, you have to be one of the most athletic guys out there, and often one of the best skaters. So it's not a surprise to me that you started skating, and made that transition for sure, because you got to be good on your feet. You got to be moving all over the place for sure, without a doubt too. So that's interesting. But I want to get to the crazy before we get to the rest of this, because I'll forget about it otherwise. I've often, again, been told goaltenders have to be a little nuts. Just a little bit crazy. Who wants a solid, compact, rubber frozen piece being shot at them with their face and throat and everything out there? At what point, first of all, do you believe that that's true? Are goaltenders a little off?
No.
No?
No, not at all. No screws loose.
You're the first goaltender I've ever talked to that said no. They all say, yep, we're a little crazy. So that's interesting. All the years I've been doing that, every single goaltender has been like, yep, it's a little wild out there for sure. But your perspective from the game is a whole different thing, and I want to talk about that in just a moment too. But I wanted to talk also about your journey to the Aberdeen Wings. Now, you started with Chippewa in the Knoll, and then went into the U show and started to play some games for the USHL, or in the USHL transfer teams, and Omaha, and then come to the Wings. What's that transition been like? And on second part of that question, I love asking this, but I think from a goaltender's perspective, it might be even better. What are some of the differences between the NAHL versus the USHL?
Yeah, for sure. Going to Chippewa and Sioux City, it was great for my development, and I'm super happy I got the opportunity to go there. Making that transition here to Aberdeen, it's been great. It being my third year of juniors, I think it's really transferred, and I'm super happy with how this year's been going. But I think just how the big difference between the two leagues would be, I think it's just a little bit more snappy. I think at that next level, when you make that jump, passes are going to be a little more crisp, shots are going to be a little more deceptive.
Okay.
And it's kind of just those small adjustments. I wouldn't say it's anything huge, but it's that 1% that makes the big difference. And I think it's just that cleanliness of the game that makes it
now, when I
a
ask
lot more different, I would say.
When I ask skate-out skaters this, they often say physicality too. They often say the null is a little bit more, they're a little more hit-driven.
100%.
But from a goaltender, I'm like, you're watching the game play out in front of you. You think you agree with that? Yeah,
for sure. I could agree with that.
Okay. That's a little bit more of a grinder league, and I feel like, and even in exhibition and stuff, when the Wings have played USHL teams and so on, you can kind of see that. Like you said, there's a cleanliness to their game, a little bit more crisp, but they also do not like to get hit. And in the null, there's guys like Backel and Kopel and so on that are like all about like, let me smash somebody right now.
Right.
Like,
no, 100%.
So that is, what a big difference. And again, I ask that question from time to time, and I feel like it's interesting to know. But again, from a goaltender's perspective, it's certainly a little bit more different. So you're this close to a shutout on Saturday night. You got a 4-0 game going on, and every time the Wings score, I'm looking down at you because you're below me, and you're jacked. I mean, you're fist pumping, and you're skating to the wall and going back over. And I honestly can say that I don't know that I've seen a goaltender quite as excited as you were when your team scored in front of you. A little more animated celebration or whatever than I guess that I've seen all that often. How cool is it to see from the other side of the ice, to see that goal lamp get lit up and go, oh yeah, that's another one?
It's awesome. As a goalie, it's all you can ask your team is to score in front of you, and of course you got to play defense in the defensive zone, but to see those guys put the puck in the back of the net, there's nothing that gets me more jacked up. So I love to see that out of the guys.
All right, now I'm going to ask you the flip side of this. This is going to be a little harder question, okay? And I expect honesty. Do you ever get mad on the other side of that when there's a defensive breakdown and they kind of hang you out to dry? Do you ever get like, come on, guys?
No, not really, truthfully. It's a part of the game. It happens. So you just got to flush it and focus on the next shot.
Oh, man, I don't know. You goaltenders I don't know how you guys do that, but I know I hear that all the time. You got to focus on the next shot and get that one past you. But man, with my anxiety and stuff, I'd be hanging on to stuff. So I'm good on you guys. But again, and again, another going back. You and I talked a couple weeks ago, I think. You were this close to a shutout again, and you were like, you know what? Shutouts really don't mean that much to me. I want the win. And I'm like, that's really cool. That's a great attitude to have, and a great, great team kind of perspective to have too. But as long as you get the win, you're not all that concerned about whether or not there's a shutout or whatever else. But you're making huge saves. You're picking up rebounds and covering things up and jumping in. There's stuff in front of the crease. There's all kinds of things going on. So as the game goes along, are you conscious? Is maybe the best word. Are you thinking about the fact, I'm here, or are you just thinking, clock, we want this win? I mean, I know you said the win's important, but are you conscious of the shutout? Yeah, no, the shutout's always great. It's fun to experience and have, but at the end of the day, you want the 2 points, and that's much more important than letting up a goal. But like you said, when the game comes down to the wire and there's a couple minutes left and they still haven't got one past you, it might cycle through your head a little bit. You need to be sharp here. But like I said, you just have to focus on that one shot and do everything you can to battle and keep that out of the net. Well, again, as goaltenders go, that's got to be, that's an important piece for sure. To be able to get that stuff behind you when they do score and just hang on for the next one. But again, Wings, as Coach said, having forwards out and penalty killers out and so on at the end of that game, things got hairy. But you did a great job, and it was fun watching you make some monster saves there for sure. All right, so now we're going to jump past hockey a little bit. I'm going to ask you some dumb questions. Are you okay? Well, let's start with hobbies and interests. What do you do? What do you do away from the rink, like when you're not working out or whatever? Or do you play cards? Are you outdoorsman?
Yeah, of course. I love being outside. When I'm outside of the rink, I love to hang out with family, be outside, hang out with my friends. Anything that keeps me active. I love sports. I love football, baseball, soccer. I'll really do anything.
So being a Minnesota guy, you like a Twins fan, Wild fan, or do you have like...
Yeah, Twins and Wild for sure, but I'm a diehard Packers fan, so...
Oh, come on.
Go green and gold, but, other than that, I'm a big Minnesota sports fan.
Let's just end this right now. No, we can't have that talk here. All right, so that being said, you talked about, friends and family and so on. Tell us a little bit about your family. Do you have any brothers and sisters that maybe played the game, or anybody you want to give a shout out to? Or anything like that? In my family, my dad grew up playing football. My mom, she played basketball. And then my sister, while we grew up, she played, a handful of sports, hockey, soccer, softball. She might have played a couple other sports, but now my sister... How many more sports are there? Like, are we talking lacrosse here at this point? Like, you just listed off like
we did
five
play
of them.
lacrosse. We played lacrosse together. We were actually on the same team.
A busy athlete. That's wild.
So trying to stay as active as possible growing up. But now my sister, she goes to school out in San Jose, California. She does videography and photography for a lot of entertainers out there. A lot of their sports teams at the school. So
very cool.
She's out in California living her life, and I'm really happy for her. And then my mom is, she hosts an Airbnb business and works at a spa. And then my dad is a DJ and a hypnotist. So
DJ like wiki kind of DJ?
Yeah, he's been DJing since he was 14 years old, so it's always been in the blood. So
see, like I'm a radio DJ. Like I do the whole, all right, folks, it's this and that, blah blah blah. But I can't do the wiki thing.
Yeah.
But all right, so now who in this room, you're proud of your sister, you look out for her, no doubt.
Yeah.
Who in this room would you trust to date her? Who's the gentleman? Who's the gentleman that is going to treat her right and going to be the nicest guy and treat her the way that you would want her to be treated?
Oh, wow. That's a tricky question.
Yes, it is. That's why I asked it.
I got to look around here for a good name.
Oh, he's stumped.
I don't even know if I could trust any junior hockey players around my sister. I don't know. If I had to pick one guy, I would give it to Drew Mackey. Drew Mackey's a great all-around guy, great character. I trust him with my family members.
Okay. All right. Now, flip side of that. He's going to be a gentleman. Who in this locker room do you trust with a briefcase full of $100,000 of your money? Who's going to hang onto that thing and never let it out of their hands and make sure that it gets back to you? Now it's still trustworthiness. We're still talking about the same kinds of things, but it's a little different.
I'd give that one to Gavin Reed. I trust him with my money for sure.
All right.
I trust him.
Responsibility going on. Did you notice, folks, that the defensemen are both who the goaltender picked? I'm just saying there might be a connection there. Okay, so again, rolling along, we're trying to flip through this. And again, folks, I apologize. I had a whole sheet of notes, so I'm just kind of winging this right now because I remember I had a whole bunch of questions for Croix, and those were going to be a couple of them without a doubt. But we move on to Minot, and Minot, top of the division. And I mentioned earlier that when you're watching the game from the other end of the ice, like when they're in the offensive zone, and you're kind of watching whatever, I feel like the goaltender's perspective is a little bit different, because you're seeing what guys are doing and you're seeing it like from, you know what I mean, a unique view and so on. And if Coach said you guys have to work on stability and working on yourselves and keeping with that structure has been a common theme throughout the season. That's no doubt an answer. That's no doubt one of the things that needs to be done. But what do you think you have to do? You go up to the Mesa Ice Arena in Minot against the #1 team in the division. As a group, what do you have to do? Yeah,
they're a great team, and like Coach Langer said, you have to play a structured 60-minute game, and I think this team is very capable of doing that. And when we do do that, we find a lot of success. So I think it's staying committed, pounding the stone as a team, and doing what we can do to stay connected for a whole 60. And you know, that's all you can really do. And I think if we do that, we'll have great outcomes in Minot.
Yeah. Do you guys, but you know, like Coach was saying, how it's like you guys need a reminder sometimes. Like after Friday night, it was like we did not play with structure. You know, Coach said the effort was there, but the cheating and all that kind of stuff that was going on, and I'm glad he referenced that again, because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what cheating means. It doesn't mean that you're being dirty and slashing and whatever else. It means that you're giving up on plays. It means that you're like not tracking and so on. Do you feel like, again, I find this interesting from you watching on the other end of the ice and kind of seeing it all play out in front of you. But is that a thing that happens in this locker room? Like, where are the captains and so on? Are they reminding guys? Are they talking to guys saying, you know what, we're not doing that again. We're going to play structured hockey. And if so, how do they do it?
Right. That's always the motto in the locker room, is to be committed to playing a full 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. As a team, it's something you have to commit to as an individual to do that and have success as a team. But from the leadership group standpoint, I would say it's really just preaching all of that and being consistent with it to make sure the guys are reminded to execute stuff at an elite level so we can get elite level results.
Okay, now you mentioned leadership. You also said, as a veteran and a junior hockey player that has, been to a couple of teams with Chip and again, in the USHL for a while, how much of a leadership role do you feel like you have? And again, because you don't ever see goaltenders with a C on their chest usually, but clearly everyone looks to you guys for, you're the last line of defense.
Right, like you said, we kind of get the outlook on everything. We're kind of the quarterback. So-called of the team, but it's cool, and it gives us the opportunity to stand up when we need to say something and make sure the team hears it. And I think the position I'm in right now, and me being a veteran in this league and in this locker room, I think it's huge when it comes to leadership. And just having the team's back, just as I'd want them to have my back. So and that's an everyday thing. Being in the locker room, outside of the rink, on the rink, if you show that leadership, they're going to fight for you. So it's just something you try to show as a leader every day.
Level of loyalty there for sure. Okay, very cool. All right, one final question here before I let you go, because I know you guys are busy all the time. All right, so what superpower would you have if you could pick, so this is going to be a two-part question. What superpower would you have if you could pick any superpower that any super person, whether it's Thor or Hulk or I don't care, what would you choose?
Not a big Marvel guy. I don't know all the superpowers.
See, I don't either. That's why I leave it up to you guys, because you're like DC, Marvel. I don't know what this stuff is, but I know what a superpower is. I know what Superman can do.
Right.
I know what Spider-Man can do. I
feel like the only right answer is a time traveler, right? I feel like I'd have to go with that. Is that?
I don't know. We'll call it that.
If that's not a superpower, plan B would be invincibility.
Okay, so now that answered my second question, which was going to be, now you compare that with the second one. So now you want invisibility and time travel.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
You sound like a bank robber. That's what it sounds like to me. You're just going to go in and snatch up the money, be invisible, and then go back in time and invest it somewhere. That's what that said to me right there.
That could be a smart idea, but no sticky hands with me. You got to keep them clean. So.
Unless the puck shot at your glove.
Right, then they have to be sticky.
Yeah, then they got to be sticky. All right, folks, this weekend at Minot, puck drop scheduled for 7:35 both nights. Watch at City Lights Barn Event Center in Aberdeen, or log in to the NAHLTV.com. hubcityradio.com. Listen on 94.1 The Rock, hubcityradio.com, or The Rock app, which you can find on your mobile device on the app store or whatever for Hub City Radio or The Rock. You can listen anywhere in the world. Next home game's Friday, March 8th versus the Bismarck Bobcats. Once again, the Bobcats in town. I Hate Winter and / Free Kids Friday night. Kids 12 and under will receive free admission with the purchase of an adult ticket. I Hate Winter giveaways at the door. Corporate game sponsor is Nutrient Ag Solutions. Aberdeen Cougars Pee Wee Bees will be recognized at the first intermission. Saturday, March 9th, Bismarck again. Sign up now for a small dog race on Saturday, March 9th. Email Aaron at asmith@aberdeenwings.com for more information. Corporate game sponsor is Ray Hybrids. Sponsorships and reserve season tickets are available for the remainder of the 2023-2024 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram, and you will find this video and this show on YouTube too. I was joking around on Friday night about the small dog race and about how, well, what's small to one person might be big to another, so is there a measuring tape, or how does this work? Call Aaron, talk to Aaron, because I got a message about all kinds of dogs that are like Chihuahuas and all that. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't realize there were that many small dog breeds out there. But so check that out. It was a joke. It was tongue-in-cheek about size differences. Anyway, Croix, thank you so much for joining me. Great game there on Saturday night. Looking forward to this matchup against Minot and seeing what you guys can do against the #1 team in the league right now, or not league, division, excuse me. But again, thank you for taking some time to join me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.